92% of Australian consumers want to keep the right to pay for goods and services with cash. More than 3/4 of Australians think it's unfair for retailers to ban cash payments, according to recent market research by Next Payments, and CEO Tim Wildash is here to talk to us all about it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Why is cash so important, do you think, in a day where a lot of people are moving to other forms of payment?
First of all, cash gives you control. It's a wonderful medium to pay for goods. It's private. It means that other people don't have information on you that they could use in ways that don't suit you.
And that's a really good point, isn't it? The privacy aspect. We've all been kind of herded into tap and go and these sorts of things, and we don't ask too many questions about it, thinking that it's all about convenience. But in the end, privacy is just as important as convenience.
Well, I think it's more important because data these days, we've heard quoted many times, is the new oil. So if the retailers and the banks have enough data on you, they can start pricing your other products accordingly. For example, if you buy Uber Eats or you buy from Dan Murphy's every week, they might find that you're a higher risk for a loan or that your insurance company doesn't want to insure you.
What are the statistics when it comes to cash usage? I would imagine it's heading south because payments, card payments, tap and go and the like are becoming more prominent amongst consumers.
Well, they're wonderfully convenient, the tap and go. I've got to give them credit. But we always thought, the RBA, the industry thought it would level out to about 27%. But some interesting PR during the virus period has caused it to drop a little bit lower. But I'm pleased to say that the minute the entertainment started opening up again, people have rushed back to cash. But we're down to about 27% of the population.
Obviously the banks have a big role to play in this, and they've been moving towards tap and go, etc. themselves. Is that, do you think, because they want to get rid of their network of ATMs because they take a lot to keep going?
I think it's twofold. One is it gives them data on every consumer in the marketplace, exactly what that consumer is doing, what they want. For example, if you're a Richmond supporter and they win, they can sell you a scarf on Monday morning. Secondly, of course, it's the fees. They make a lot of money every time you tap and go. They're either hidden fees or they're declared fees, but there are fees. There
can be fees when it comes to using ATMs though as well.
Yes, during the virus, 87% of all transactions were no charge with cash. 13% were a surcharge. We have surcharges on our machines. They average $2.60.
And do you think that there's a hesitancy from people to actually use cash because obviously it's touching something that others have touched? Well, you mentioned PR, is that what you're referring to?
Yes, in the early parts of the virus there was some very interesting and well-planned PR spread out by people that benefit by you not using cash.
Right.
We found that to be opportunistic, and we weren't pleased with it at all. It's like safety in the airlines. There's a agreed formula that you don't talk about safety if you've got an airline. So we found this opportunistic PR quite disgraceful, and we've addressed it as well as we can.
So what are the steps that businesses like yourself are taking to, I suppose, try and make people aware that cash is safe and that it is, from a privacy perspective, it's a better way to go?
First of all, we've uncovered the fake news, and we've identified that and been quite public with that. Secondly, we're sanitising the notes. I use a very large cash company called Prosecure, who run the cash through ultraviolet lights, and they keep the cash for over 28 hours. And the WHO, the RBA and many other organisations have said that that's enough to make sure that the cash is relatively clean, or as clean as it can be.
That's incredible. So you're actually sanitising the notes. Talk to us about that.
Yes. Well, there's Mint. The Mint has pools of money around Australia, and they spray bomb the cash overnight, and then of course they run it through these ultraviolet light machines, and that's been proven the best way to kill any viruses or any bacteria.
Obviously, Australia isn't the forefront when it comes to moving away from cash completely. There are other countries that have had things like Apple Pay and many of the other things for a lot longer. What's been the experience, you think, when countries move away from cash entirely?
Well, it's left a lot of people behind, and it has hurt a lot of people, and those countries have reversed those decisions faster than entering into those decisions. Sweden, for example, are now legislating that banks must hold cash for those that require cash, and 12 states in America have legislated that you cannot discount cash. You have to have cash as a medium for payment.
It's interesting, and it's such a great topic, because obviously gold was the standard, then became the US dollar, and then in the early 1970s, the US didn't have the actual cash to be able to pay people back if they wanted to get their cash, and then we've kind of moved into this system ever since there, where a lot of the cash we talk about is just numbers on a computer screen, and it isn't actually backed up by cash. Do you think that's a mistake?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the gold standard was an excellent standard. We understood it. It was real. We're now venturing into many other types of standards. It could be the digital space, the Bitcoin space. They have their merits, but I'm a believer in gold. I love gold.
You love gold.
Yes.
Tim, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thanks very much.
That was
All the
wonderful.
best.